Hello everybody, welcome here to Musicians Edition. I'm Evan. I can be found on here playing piano and guitar videos. In this one I'm going to put both of those a bit together here. I want to do a video on a piano player's guide on how to learn guitar. So for me, I started on piano, I switched over to guitar after a few years later, and it's a really hard transition, I think, and especially in terms of how the notes look, understanding how to play chords, and so I always kind of wished I had a better resource of how to put all that together, so I wanted to do a video on how to pick up and learn guitar from that piano player's lens to make that transition a bit easier for you guys. So we got two main things that we're going to go over. One is the layout of the notes, understanding pretty much the fretboard and the different strings. The next one is going to be talking about chords as well too. Quite a big difference in how we use them on guitar, but I think you'll find them to be pretty easy once you get the hang of it. And lastly, we'll touch briefly on how to read guitar music. So from piano, you probably know sheet music. That's obviously the standard. On guitar, most guitar players don't know how to read sheet music because tabs and chord boxes are so much easier. So we'll touch briefly on that as well too here. So let's talk first about the layout of the notes. So for me, I don't know if it's just because I started on piano, but the visualization and pattern of the notes on piano is just so easy for me to understand. It goes one direction, just left to right to go from low to high. You've got that simple octave repeating pattern, so it's really easy to find any specific note. Like, I know a D is always going to be in between the two black keys. I know G and A are in between the set of three black keys. Like, things like that are really easy to pick up on and find any notes, along with having the difference between sharps and flats with white and black keys. So piano is really easy. With guitar, we obviously don't have a difference between white and black keys for sharps and flats. They all just look the same. Everything is just moving a half step up, going across the frets this way. But we also have multiple ways we can move from low to high notes on guitar. We can go across the strings side to side. We can also go up and down, and so that means we can also kind of move diagonally as a way to go from low to high on the guitar. So that's a bit more to think about and comprehend, as opposed to piano, which has just that simple left to right, easy distinction of sharps and flats. So we're going to dive into that to help make that more sense for us first. All right, so first up, let's talk about the different strings on your guitar. You should have 6 strings on your guitar. Each of these has a different pitch that they're set to for standard tuning, and that's all we're going to talk about in this because different kinds of tunings is more advanced for sure. So we should have E, A, D, G, B, and E, and here's what that converts to on the piano. So we have our low E, that is going to be E2. We jump up the next string, we have A there, then D, G, B, E. That's how it looks on the piano. With this high E being the E that is above middle C. So you could compare strumming these strings and compare it to your piano, and you'd see those pitches do match up. And what we'll notice about the gaps between these strings, there is a pattern which is nice. These are perfect fourths, except for one gap that is a major third. That major third gap is between the G and B strings. So these two right here. But every other one is a perfect fourth. So E to A, that's a fourth. A to D, a fourth. D to G, another fourth. G to B right there is our only major third. And we finish again with another fourth, B to E. So to fill in the rest of these notes, we have to use the frets here. So that's where we're going to start to go across so we can find all the notes between that E and A, for example, here on the first string. So to get the notes higher than that root note, we're just going to fret across. So open, we get low E. We would find the next note up, F, right here on the first fret. F sharp comes after, and then we would get G, G sharp, and then we'd end up at A by going to the next string. So that's how we fill in the gaps in between each of these, by playing across the frets. So next, again, we don't have sharps and flats. We don't have an easy repeating pattern to find all those notes. What we do have are dots on the fretboard. We should have dots at the 5th, 7th, 9th, double dot on the 12th, and then another one on the 15th. You also might have one on the 3rd fret back here too. Mine just doesn't here. But those indicators are just to help us find frets when we're playing along. So if it was completely without the dots, we'd obviously have to think more about where's that 7th, 9th fret, especially when you get higher up. So that's what the dots are there to help you for. And the double dot one is special because this is when we are a full octave up on each string. So on the 12th fret, that makes sense because we have 12 notes in our musical scale. So on that 12th fret is where we get another E. On this low E string, we go from low E to the E 1 octave higher if we're fretting right there. All right, you can see how that looks here. So we've got low E, that is E2. We can jump up to E3 right there. We've got the low A, which is A2. We can jump up to A3. And same idea for all these once you hit this 12th fret.
This lesson is brought to you by the Musician's Edition practice book. Make goals and keep track of progress throughout the whole year. When you're done with this video lesson, don't forget to mark this practice time in your Musician's Edition practice book. Now back to the video.
So let's talk a bit more about the frets and all the notes you can find on the guitar. So here's a picture that I really encourage you to print out and put up on your wall just to help make this make sense and for while you practice as well too, so you can see what notes you are playing. This is going to show us all the notes up to the 15th fret, which is that one dot above the double dot. That's our 15th fret. Most guitars have 21, 22, 24 frets, somewhere around there. We rarely play higher than 15, and especially rarely play higher than like the 20th fret. Just like how on piano you never really go to like the top maybe octave, or very rarely go to that. On guitar we're really going to play these super high ones, so the bulk of it's going to be really below the 12th fret, but sometimes we'll come up here for like solos or higher riffs. And the other important thing when we're playing fretted notes is we do not play right in the middle. To get the really how that note is supposed to sound, we play right up against this bar right here for the fret. So I'm going to have my finger not right in the middle of like the 5th fret, for example, if that's the one I'm playing, but I want to go right up against this vertical bar here when I play. So yes, making sure you do get these notes down. You can see on the low E string, we start at E, we play every note in between until we get to that higher E on the 12th fret. Some more notes up there. There's a lot of options and really overlap between the strings of different notes you can play, because you can get the same exact note or tone on different strings, and that's something we're going to touch on in this next picture here. So in this one, you really do see the shuffling diagonally kind of nature of how the notes progress on the guitar. So I think having this like color-coded one really makes sense. So this is another one you might want to print off, put up on your wall so you can help make sense of all the notes on the guitar. You can see it's the same exact note we can find on multiple strings. That's obviously not something you find on piano. On piano, you get one instance of every note moving across. On guitar, because we have so much we can work on going across and then jumping up between the strings. A couple examples would be you can find that A2, that orange A. You can play that on the 5th fret here of the low E string. That's where you reach that perfect 4th up from E. Is A right there on the 5th fret, and that's the same note, same exact tone as the A you get played openly on the A string. So you can see those two orange A's there. For another one, just to show another instance, look at how many green C's you can find, and that is your middle C on the guitar. You can see there's 4 different green C's we could find on the guitar. For that middle C, we can play the 15th fret of the A string. We can play the 10th fret of our next string up here. We can play the 5th fret of the string after that. Or we can play the 1st fret of the B string. And those are all middle C's, because we have this diagonal shuffle of how these notes really move up on the guitar instead of just moving straight across like on our piano. And then lastly here, you can also see that piano is going to have more overall notes that you have available to you. E2 is the lowest we're going to go. You can do alternate tunings technically where you can tune it down a bit more, but for standard tuning, that E2 is the lowest you can get to. Piano, you obviously have a full octave below that. And you can reach higher than that pink G5, technically going past the 15th fret on the high E, but not too much higher. So piano's definitely got some extra notes on the high and the low side compared to guitar here. And next, just quickly touching on reading here on guitar. You can see I got a comparison here of comparing that sheet to the tab. Again, guitar players typically don't know how to read the sheet. We read tabs and chord boxes. So tabs are specifically for playing more like riffs of melodically. You'll see one note after each other, and what you have there is just one line representing each string. So we have our 6 strings, and we have 6 lines for those tabs there at the bottom. The lowest line on there is the thickest string or lowest pitch string. The highest line on there is our high E, so that's how it works, going low up to the highest for the tab there. And so you can see we have numbers on there. We have 0 for playing it open, or a 1 for the first fret, 3 for the first fret, and you can just see how it progresses up there, and this is a good one to practice finding all those natural notes. Here it is again. You can see those the root notes of the open strings highlighted, so you can see how that works with which string you'd be playing for these two. All right, so that is for reading. That's for tabs. That's for typically riffs, reading melodic notes. For chords, we have these really cool things called chord boxes. For chord boxes, this is typically the breakdown of what you're going to see. You're going to have the name of the chord up top. So this is the A chord, for example, A major. If you see an X above one of the strings, that means we do not play that string. If you see an O, that means we play that string openly without fretting on it. If you see black dots, that means that's where your fingers are going to go. So those are the ones you are going to press frets down on. The numbers there is not what frets we're playing. You can see how those are actually the second fret, but you have a 2, 1, 3. Those are for the numbers for your fingers, so it's telling you which finger to play. 1, 2, 3, or 4. So this one's saying you would use your middle, your index, and your ring finger, 2, 1, and 3, that ring finger. And then we have the frets, so you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets total being shown here. The far left is your lowest or thickest string. The far right is your highest or thinnest string. So to play this one, the X is on the low E. I'm not going to play that. A string is played openly. Then I'm playing second fret, second fret, second fret for these 3 strings. The highest one played openly. I'm going to put my 3 fingers down right here, and I'm going to play that A. With one nice strum playing all those strings that are included in this chord, like that. So speaking of chords with these chord boxes, this is the other thing we've got to touch on. This is a pretty hard transition from piano to guitar at the beginning here, but I think playing chords on guitar is really so much easier. And this is really where you get to see that it's a pretty quicker learning curve to sounding decent on guitar versus piano, because playing just a few chords that you have memorized back to back, you know, it gets you to be able to play a lot of songs and sound pretty good on guitar when you pull out that acoustic or crank up that electric guitar and play a few chords around. And I think the coordination of using both hands to play chords is much easier than, like, you know, both your hands having to work together, that hand independence on piano. So I think this is where you see a really good pro of switching over to guitar, because you've already probably gotten a whole lot of practice on hand independence, and now on guitar it's going to come together pretty easily, I think. So for chords, we do not just find a 1, 3, and a 5 on guitar and play those like we would on a piano. We're usually playing inversions and multiples of the same notes somewhere across like 5 or 6 strings. So we're very rarely only playing 3 strings for like what a typical 3-note chord would be. We're usually going to involve 5 or 6 strings that are going to have a combination of like that 1, 3, and 5 note of that chord. So the most common chords for you to know are the caged chords. These are also called cowboy chords. They are the most common chords you will find in songs and want to know when coming onto guitar. This is really the first thing you should learn, is cowboy chords and caged chords for what you're going to be playing along to. And so here's a picture for this. I really encourage you to also print out this picture and put it up on your wall. These are just really the most common chords you're going to have to know, the most common chord shapes you're going to have to know. So have this on your wall, practice them, look away from that picture and memorize them, because you're definitely going to want to have these down. They are called caged chords because they are the C, A, G, E, D chords. I also slipped an F in there because F is super common too. That's not technically with the cage system, but it's also a really common chord. Some of these are just the majors. Some of these are the minors as well too, for the ones that are those common shapes for the minors. So these are all chords you should really practice and get down, because they're the ones that pop up in songs most frequently, ones that are really easy for you to play and sound pretty good on the guitar. So yeah, these cage chords are the most common. Let's kind of break down what we're looking at with these. So for the A chord, for example, you can see what notes we're playing here. We're not playing that low E string because we want to have the A be our root. And then after that, we're playing the E, which is our 5. We're playing the A again, which is our root again. We're playing C sharp, which is our 3. And then we are playing that E again at 5. So what we have here is the 1, 3, and 5 of A, C sharp, and E, the 3 notes of our chord. But they can be really in any order, just that A is typically still going to be the root note. but C sharp, E, and A can be repeated as many times across these. And that's how we're very often going to be playing that A chord. So it's typically inversions of a mix of the 1, 3, and 5 like that, played across 5 or 6 strings. And that's what you're going to get for all of those caged chords. So after the caged chords, you know, if you're a hard rocker, you can move on to power chords and get those really common shapes down so you can play along to those hard rock or metal songs. So if that's not your forte, you typically go on to like the less common chords, and then you'd eventually go on to bar chords, which are these super annoying things where you like press your index finger against and then play a shape with your other 3 fingers. As you get better at guitar, that's something you'll definitely move on to because those are also quite common. But the caged chords, they're good for now. Practice those, get them down so you can play along to songs. So that is it for our piano player's guide to learning guitar. I think this is a great start for you, and these are all things I wish I knew when I was transitioning over to guitar. So I hope this makes that transition easier for you. I really do encourage you to practice the layout of the notes, playing those scales as much as you might be tired of them, especially coming from piano. You obviously know they have a benefit even though they're boring. So practice moving up the guitar, side to side, up this way, playing different scales, playing different patterns of notes, so you can really get the layout down even more. Practice playing those caged chords, and really just a combination of doing riffs versus chords, so you can really practice all those skills. But you know, whatever's important to you, do you want to be the casual playing chords along, maybe singing to songs, or do you want to be more of, you know, playing those riffs and melodies, that's kind of rhythm guitar versus lead guitar? Whatever's important to you, you can always prioritize as you're practicing and getting better at guitar here. So, and of course, as you progress, check out more videos here on Musician's Edition. We've got all the good stuff, tabs, chord boxes, learning different kinds of chords, melodies, riffs, all that stuff that you'd want to. Make sure you check out the channel. Make sure you check out the channel so you can learn some more about guitar as you continue to play. Have fun learning and playing, and we'll see you next time.